Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire, man. I'm stoked about tonight's show. I've been wanting this man on my show for a minute now. Please help me welcome my guest, Jeremy Hatchet Hatch.
Yeah,
Hey, I tell you what,
Jerome.
hey,
Well, we got you, man.
Jarome.
Yeah,
Hey, I asked you. The bad thing is, I asked you before we went live, and I still screwed that up, bro.
dude. Everybody does, man. I'm not even sweating, man. Everybody does.
Yeah, kind of me, kind of. I was kind of playing with you. No, I really messed up. That's pretty sad. Bro, you're about to create history. You truly are. You're set on the trilogy for January 18th in Pembroke Pines, Florida. BYB 23. You're going in there against Martinjak again for the third time. Now that you sit and the dates are getting closer, what brews in the head of you, Jerome? What do you sit back and contemplate as the days get closer?
Honestly, man, I just contemplated on getting my business going. I got a baby that'll be here tomorrow, so we go in tomorrow. So that's kind of where my focus is. I mean, I'm training. I just got back from training. I'm not missing no days on that. Said I, the trilogy. You shouldn't be going to the trilogy, but I let it get to that point, and so I'm going to take it away and make sure that you know, we isolate it and secure what's ours.
Yeah. Like I talked about, because I'm transparent, I talked with you before we went live. I may get in trouble for this, but I still kind of think it should be an intercontinental title because now it's three different continents that you two have faced each other, as of January 18th coming up. And your first outing was tremendous in Dubai. Take me to that moment. What was it like walking out in Dubai?
So it's weird because I'm just different, right? I'm different than a lot of
Yeah.
other people. I just and not necessarily skill wise. I mean, yes, that as well. But I have a big heart, and it was always a hobby of mine. And at that point, when I'm going out there, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to Dubai. Like it's been a cool. Like hell yeah, I want to
Yeah.
go. I'm going to fight. Like whatever, like I've always wanted to go. I was even thinking like cross the pond when I first started fighting. I'm like, I'd love to go to London. And when they called with Dubai, I was like, hell, I've always wanted to go there. Like, let's just go. But it was just another fight. Like I was more intrigued on going there and seeing like, structurally and seeing like all the structures
Yeah.
and everything that way because of what I do. I mean, I've come up, I did iron rigging. I built, many, hundreds of feet of stuff when it comes to, ethanol plants, gas plants, power plants. So it's been, cement plants. I mean, it's just, we keep going up, you know what I mean? 550 feet, it's just, that's what I did. And so to be able to go and see, like my biggest thing was Burj Khalifa. When they started building that, I'm like, I want to go. So really the fight, it was just another fight. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. Until that night when I went there to the stadium and my phone blew up on social media, all my socials. And that's when I kind of started realizing like, oh shit, like, hey, this is kind of a big deal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I was like, oh, whatever. And then I just listened to my book like I do every time. And then finally the nerves kind of like started to set in right before I was going out. And I got a text message to come through my little AirPod from my boys and said, it's okay, Dad, you got this, Hatch Magic. And that's our thing, just Hatch Magic. And it like calmed, took my earbud out. We walked out and I knew what I had to do to expose his holes. And I went out there with the plan to do that. And I was able to implement that and come out on top. Just
Do you, do you,
make a statement. So,
yeah. Do you mind if I show that statement?
oh, I would love it. I actually enjoy it. I watch it almost daily.
All right. Well, here we go.
Martinjak got very, very careless that jab. Sharp counter over the top by Hatch. Big jab! Now he's out! Now he's out! This guy's got hammers in his hands! This guy's got hammers in his hands!
Hatch it! Hatch one or
Love you guys.
I love it, bro.
See, and it just instantly when it switched to like, hey, love you guys. Like it just everything was calm. It was cool. But man, I watched that because that right there, that's BYB's knockout of the year. You know what I mean? So I mean, it deserves it. I mean, I folded them like laundry, and I plan to do the same thing this time, but in a more uh, in a way better way. You know, I mean, that's going to be hard to beat, but I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to put a statement.
Yeah. Amber Morgan says, hell yeah, Jerome Hatch MMA. And she also put, love that knockout.
Yeah,
And then
that was a fan favorite.
Chris Sol Gonzalez says, bare knuckle history. He also said, here for the bare knuckle insiders edition.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, my show was just chill, bro. You could talk about anything you want. We predominantly, I would generally talk about your family first. We're going to get there in a moment, but let me get some of these comments out of the way. Giovanni Gavanzoni from Atlanta says, congratulations on the baby and God bless you and your family, G. You know, I second that. Congratulations, man. And you know, how beautiful is it? Your baby's going to be born tomorrow. How much hope and inspiration is that going to still in the Hatchet going into Florida on the 18th?
You know, it's I'm excited, right? So my baby is 12, you know, and like me and my fiance now, we don't have any. This is our one that's bringing our family together, and her baby's 12, and so we are just, you know, we're mixing it up, and we're to be able to bring this in. It's crazy. I mean, we're starting over, right? But I'm so much more intentional with my kids now, and when I say something to them, like I make sure that I stay true to what I'm gonna do, and to be able to have that hope of another little one. That I mean, it's like gonna be just a little guy. You know what I mean? I'm thrilled to be able to like come home and put him next to the belts, and you know, we got him some little boxing gloves. I meant to bring him down. It's pretty cool, but it says Hatch 2023 on them. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to be able to continue my legacy and be able to, you know, keep raising, you know, these young little champions, man. I love it. My kids are all in sports. We push them all the time. So, I mean, it's a family is if you guys know me, man, family is number one always. Um, so to be able to do that, I'm pumped. I can't even like explain how pumped I am. You know, usually like when you're younger, you're like kind of scared. And you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? You know, money here, money there. Like, but when you're set, it's just it's like calm. Just excited, man.
I love it, bro. You know, I'm 61. My son's 37. I'm not going to have another kid. It ain't going to happen. And plus, my wife already had menopause. So, but Lindy Tomlinson says BYB champ, LFG. You know, and Chris Sol Gonzalez says BYB Extreme Fighting Series. The knockouts hit different in the mighty Trigon. You know, that's a good point because even though I'm with BYB and I've been to the events, you can see the Trigon, but until you actually walk into the Trigon, that's the only time you realize how freaking small that combat surface is. I mean, you take two steps back anyway, you're having to fight for your life. You know, what was it like for you the first time stepping into the Trigon and realizing how small it truly was?
That's what I got. Like when I first walked in, I instantly pardon, but I was like, fuck yeah. Cause I was like, just, I mean, my problem is yes, it's not a problem. Okay. So it's obviously for me, but I hit hard and I keep that pressure and I push, push, push. And I get a lot of people scared and a lot of people will back up and they keep trying to just do the counter, just like Martinjak. He just tries to do that counter fight. And it's hard when you're on such a small surface. And if you get tied into one of them corners, I mean, it's hard to get out of, you know? When I first walked in there, man, I was thrilled. And I mean, it was like with the three 10-second counts, I think it was over in like 52 seconds, my first one. So, and my second one was like 48 or something, you know what I mean? Like they were all right there. So,
you know, it's crazy because you go over to the Dubai and you defeat Martinjak. Then you go over to the UK. What was wrong with the walk of Jerome Hatchet? What ultimately led you down the path to demise in that fight?
My mind wasn't fully there. I had some other, some personal things. No excuse. I let the fight. I let him fight his fight, and that's all it was. See, I'm the best fighter in my fight, and I will push and push until I can get you to engage and draw you into my fight, and I will do that. And the only time I've ever lost is just whenever I fight their fight. And I fought his fight that night. He stayed out, he stayed outside. I kept down. I kept trying to throw that big haymaker versus setting things up just like that with that one. You know what I mean? I caught him with that quick left and stunned him back. I only hit him 2 times in that fight. And that, I mean, that's how heavy my hands are. And I mean, I don't, it's like nothing like, oh, I've got heavy hands, but I do. And I was going to bring down this pad. We just got tonight, a new pad, and I ripped it. He was holding it, and it's all ripped. I have been working vigorously on my boxing and just making sure that everything's right, because you guys are going to see a whole different fighter, so it's going to be cool. Footwork's going to be right. Setups are going to be right. I mean, I'm going to bait him in. I'm going to knock him the fuck out, man. So I'm going to put a fucking statement, because that belt is mine, and he got that because of that ref.
Yeah.
I let it get to that point, but that ref stopped it. That's one thing that I can say, is that my win was completely like exclamation point. His, everybody's like, why did it get stopped? We got 4 or 5 seconds left in the round. He's going back to his corner, and I'm covered up, going back to mine. Yeah, my eye was slow, but let the corner man do his job. You know what I mean? Let me get back in there. I mean, there's some things. I mean, and I finally just watched that fight the other day for the first time, just to see how much where I remembered in the moment. Because I'm very calm in there. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's second nature to me. I mean, this one I think will be my 177th walk to the cage or to the ring, combat wise. So I'm pumped.
That's one thing I found crazy. I'm gonna get to your comment in a second, Amber. But one thing I found crazy about you is when we talked this afternoon, and you fight every 5-6 weeks, bro. I mean, you already got another fight scheduled after this one.
Yeah, they want me to defend my belt, and I have to confirm that with BYB before I can officially announce anything like that, because I do have belts in other promotions, and I'm thankful that BYB's let me go outside and still continue to do my MMA, because they are unable to keep me as busy as I need to be. I'm 37 in a week and a half. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting up there, right? I ain't got many years left in this old body, and so for them to allow me to do that has been great. Now this year they're having a lot more shows, and I want to focus more on getting. I love bare knuckle, man. It was built for me, especially this Trigon, man. I'm thrilled. I love it. So nobody can hang with me, as far as my power getting in there. I feel like God when I get in there. Like I feel like I'm just at peace. I'm like, okay, good.
You feel at home. You feel at home.
I do. Yeah, the lights, they don't bother me. Like it's calming. When I get in there, it's like everything goes away. I don't hear the crowd. It's peace.
That's so dope. I told Amber I'd get to her comment, so let me do that before my next question. She said, yep, fan favorite, been watching him fight for over a decade. What does that mean to you now, seeing all these fans correlate themselves around you? I mean, because you're a humble man. I know it doesn't go to your head, but I know it goes to your heart.
Yeah, no, it does. I feel it here, man. And people, like Amber and the vast majority of people that I have, that no matter what, at the drop of a hat, I've been able to post it and say, hey, I'm fighting next week. And there's people like Amber, and a handful of others that no matter what, they're there. Like, and they've been to so many fights moving on throughout the whole career. I mean, dude, I've been fighting, it's almost 20 years, man. I mean, you wouldn't think it because, I still look good. But, people are still like, you've been doing it that long? I'm like, yeah, man, 18, almost 19 years. And professionally, I've been fighting my whole life. But so, to be able to say yes and be able to pick up a phone and have 100, 200 people show up to my fight at the drop of the hat, man. Love it. Nothing means more to me than that. So
It's a testimony to your heart, bro, and what you do. I've been in this sport for 40 years. December 12th was my 40th year in combat sports. And, I walked away from an engineering job, 6 figures, to do this. You got to love it. People say, why do we do this? The bottom line is we love it. It's not for the money. It's not for fame or glory. It's because it's who we are. I mean, do I regret sometimes walking away from 6 figures? I've thought about it, but to be honest with you, like my wife said, you wouldn't have been happy. And I put my family's name into history. Now with a new one coming and this opportunity to squash this trilogy, what does it feel like? What does it sit like in the heart of the Hatchet Man?
honestly, man, I want to do it, and I want to bring the belt and I will bring it back. And it ain't for me. I give a shit less about me, but it's for my legacy. It's for my kids to be able to say no. I mean, they tell their friends now, man, and they're just like, oh, I hang out, you sign these things for these kids, and they just think the world. But I do it because I can show my kids that no matter what, even after 18 years, you can still become a world champion. You just, and it's not that I only took it serious for 6 months. Like I've trained once or twice, 3 times, maybe a week before a fight, up until, right when I got into the bare knuckle. Then I started training more and more boxing. And just, it's been ever since when I started training boxing wise, it just completely elevated. And it's been awesome. And even in both sports, last year I lost 2 fights all year, and I had, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. You know what I mean? I think 5 or 6. I lost 2 of them. But it's been, I had a good run, over the last 2 years. And I'm ready to kind of cement that and keep it going. That's the dope, biggest thing is my name. All we have in this life is our name and our word. And if I can cement my name, which I am, then great. If I can give my kids, my grandkids something to look up to, great. My grandpa was a boxer, I didn't even know that until after he was gone, passed away, finding newspaper clips and stuff. So he was a Golden Glove boxer, but he always kept me and my twin brother against each other, working on different things, how, generating the power. And I'd never really understood it, but now I do, Yeah. So.
To me, it looks like you just absolutely love being in there, and I never seen you fight in MMA, so I wouldn't watch a couple fights. And bro, either path is yours. Either path is yours. You can actually, leave either path. What is it though? Because this card, 3 world title fights, and they're bringing back some OGs like you, White Boy. And, this card, man, is just stacked. What does it mean for you to be on this history-making card and knowing that at the end of this night, you're either going to be the BYB world champion with a Police Gazette belt? What does it mean? Because I look at it as I know in your heart, you already know how this is going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a single doubt on how it's going to go, but as far as what it's going to mean to me is just confirming what I know. I'm just going to go out there and confirm, what I know, what I tell myself, and even my fans, what they know. They know me and they know what I have in here, and that's why I don't stop. I'm relentless as fuck, and I just keep moving forward. So
that's so dope. Man, I love having you on the show. Let me get some of these comments, because sometimes I get caught up in the conversation. I'm old, man. I got to pinch myself to keep reminding myself to do things. But Crystal Gonzalez says, congratulations on the new child. Giovanni Gavanzoni says, all heads must bow, all tongues shall confess. You're a great fighter, a great father figure, G. And then
I appreciate that.
And then, man, I love these people right here, bro. And I know you do too. The Fighting News says, we love the Hatchet. What does it mean for you to have another organization who I happen to love? I think Fighting News is one of the most tremendous organizations out there. What does it mean to you to have them come on to another program and give you a compliment?
Man, those guys over there, Steve, like good as gold, man. I mean,
Yeah,
dude, that like you can't get any better than that. I mean, really, I mean, just his heart's in the right place. I mean, he was doing this whole thing about the last breakdown had a he was wearing my shirt or a shirt that he had made with the
yeah,
hatchet on there, and I was just like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like it just, he and I wear his shirts. He gave me a couple shirts, which I need some more, because those are wore out. But dude, I absolutely love it. To have even cross promotions and everybody, I even my MMA guys out here, they push my stuff for you guys for BYB. They really help promote me in that way because they're just, I'm just a genuine guy, man. I love the sport and I support anybody that does it. I don't give a shit who you are or what you do. That's why we have a sport is because of people like us and people like y'all that do all the filming, the broadcasting and getting our names out there. Because if we didn't have that, it's a pretty hard to grow.
yeah. Me and a lot of the fighters, we've been talking lately, and I love this new breed, especially people like you that have touched my heart. They feel that the fighters should promote the promotion as much as the promotion promotes the fighters. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's false. I think that the fighter should promote themselves, and if they're fighting for that organization, they need to promote the organization more than because if I'm a fighter and I'm throwing out BYB and I really pushing it out there and putting it and trying to sell tickets and letting them use my stuff for branding, whatever we can do to have that partnership together. Not only does it help network me as a fighter to help them put me on and my performances. First off, I mean you got to perform for a promotion to. If you can perform, promotion will push you. If you can't perform, then they just appreciate you and just do minimal work because it's just you're they appreciate you, but if you're really going out there, they want to put on a show, and that's what makes them big, right? So if they're putting on these, I mean, even look at like Mark Irwin. He just won that one. His head, or he just lost, and his head was all sore. And it made the big ESPN or whoever the hell that dumbass was that was
Stephen
trying
A.
to act
Smith.
like he knew. Yeah, acting like he knew just because he gets a little scared. That's what it's society these days, right? It don't look right. So, oh shit, this is dangerous when you don't know the facts. And people just think it's dangerous because they see blood and whatever. Like, but as far as trauma wise, anyways, yeah, kind of. I'll get off on that shit. But
Hey,
I
so do
think
I.
that,
Can we jump back there for a second?
yeah, oh yeah, come on with it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I can
Well,
always
we'll
go back
see.
to that.
Well, because bro, I was in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and I thought the card was tremendous.
Very
And
well matched.
yeah, and I'm like, Mel did a hell of a job. I even told Mel, I said, you did a hell of a job. Going into Denver, I didn't think Rock Hill, the card could get beat. But from Tommy Turner all the way to Ike I mean, it was just like one of the most banging cards. But I want to talk about the Irwin fight because this is the heart of a lot of fighters that most people don't see. You know, Irwin had a broken jaw. It looked like a grenade went off in his ear. He had a hematoma, had a second head. But you know what? People are mocking him. A lot of people are starting to give him, his praise. But what I saw was a man that was unwilling to give up that belt. He was going to do whatever it took to win and continue to be the champion for BYB. You can't take nothing from that man. That, in my mind and in my heart, that wasn't even a loss. What's your perspective on that, brother?
So I have a different. I mean, I have a very interesting view on that, and I've explained this to many people because I've watched other shows, MMA, bare knuckle. I mean, we just had one come here, to Utah finally. But
Yeah.
and Mel and BYB, man, they're taking these guys and they're building their names. They're not buying these names, and I mean, they're doing a fantastic job in what they're doing. I think it's great. I think it's great with what you know, all the promotions are doing. BKB, you know, across the pond, and you know, even BKFC here, they're really promoting, and they're only drawing more people, you know, to the bare knuckle world, you know, which is fantastic, you know. But as far as that, I even talked to Mark about that, and what I see is there's a very, very small percentage of us that are in there that fight, but they're actual warriors, and that will, no matter what. And I consider myself, so whenever I can see somebody that does that, because I see people, man, they take a couple blows and they're like, oh, I mean, I fought a couple of them, you know, oh, I ain't getting up. Oh, you know, or else even in MMA, that, you know, you see a lot of guys that start taking a beating and all of a sudden they get this long neck to get choked out. You know, I mean, it happens all the time. They give up, and they don't have that. And Mark, and there's a few out there that I've really noticed, and because I don't follow many people, but when I look at people and I'm like, let me see what this guy's got, you know. And with Mark, I was like, all right, he's probably another one of these guys, you know. Okay, well, he made his thing. He's got that fucking mouth. Let's see, you know. Let me see how bad this dude is. And when I watched him fight, nothing but respect, because you can see it in his eyes, you know. And so that's why there are very few of us out there that genuinely love that and is relentless to they'll never give up, you know. And it's not that they don't know when to, they just don't know how. We don't know how to give up. We're relentless. I've had a couple fights where they're like, oh, I seen your eye like this, man. I had to stop it. I know you'll never give up. I'm like, there is no quit, you know, because I have an equalizer too. I got two of them. You know what I mean? It's like I tell people, you know, you got the Hammer twins, right? You got Jack and Sledge, or Hammer and Steel, right? You got Hammer and Steel. If Jack don't get you, Sledge will, you know. So I try to throw out my rhymes too, you know, every once in a while. But that's it, man. I love the sport, and I love people that genuinely love the sport. They don't do it to say they did it. A lot of people will get into this bare knuckle and just always say, oh, well, I did it. Okay, well, yeah, you know, I fight. Oh, yeah, I fought MMA one time. Just say, oh, yeah, I did it. Well, okay, and you won, you know, state in football, or you kicked a hell of a field goal back in, you know, 1930. Like, get off it. You know what I mean? If you're a true fighter, you never have to explain yourself of anything. You know, I'm just like, well, yeah. People are like, oh, you fight? I'm like, yeah, I've done it a few times. You know, I don't care. I got nothing to prove.
I love your walk though, bro, and I think Chris Saul Gonzalez, he pretty well explains it. He says, "Word, you have to stay to your original game plan and execute in bare knuckle." You know, that's one thing I wouldn't say in the other promotion, but to touch on what you're talking about, fighters that don't have the heart. I've been in MMA. I've shot for the UFC most of my career. One thing in the other promotion, and I don't mean to get sidetracked, but we talk about people that don't have heart. Look at Luke Rockhold. He did tremendous in the octagon. The minute he steps up in the bare knuckle and he gets hit and breaks his tooth in half, he quits.
Yep.
That's not a warrior. Pardon my French, and I know I'm not supposed to cuss on my show, but that's a bitch move, bro. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. And just because you've built a name and you've done this and you made, so to me, you have taken that and you've, you know, elevated your name and done everything you can. And with a move like that, it takes all respect away from so many people that know the sport. People be like, oh, you can't win them all. You can't. Yeah, I understand that. But I mean, I'm times like, okay, cool. I got my tooth chipped. Well, I'm not going to stop now. You know what I mean? It's already chipped. It ain't get, just because I quit don't mean it's getting stuff back in my mouth. Like it is. I got a chipped tooth. And I got it from a street fight. I got jumped by some college linemen back when I was 17 years old. You know what I mean? It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I still ain't gonna stop. You know.
Yeah.
But
you know, I love your spirit, bro. You're a tremendous man, and you know the reason I'm going to ask this question is because you raised a very relevant point about BYB. You know, and it was one of the reasons when I had Mike on my show about 3 years ago. I told him in all of my years of being in the sport, I've never met a promoter like him. I've never met a promoter that cares about the fighters. I've never met a promoter that feeds the fighters, lets them come early, lets them leave late. What has the experience for you been like in BYB? Have you ever met a promoter like Mike and Dada?
man, Yes, dude, they're so good, man. I mean, even, like I tell them, hey, man, this is what I want to do. And okay, well, cool. Let's send her some, even my fiance would come to Dubai with me. It was like, hey, we'll do this. We'll take it out of your purse. Excuse me. That way we ain't got to worry about nothing. That way y'all can sit together. They bought the ticket, and nobody does that. You know what I mean? Like because they don't know what the fight's going on, but they know when I show, I'm there. When I say I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a shit. I'm not going to slip in the bathroom like they've had happen before. You know what I mean? And bitch out. You know what I mean? I'm going to run my mouth at the weigh-ins and then slip in the bathroom. Yeah. No, when I'm there, if I get on that plane or if I tell you, it doesn't matter. If I tell you I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight. And there ain't nothing that's going to stop me. And everybody that follows me and even promotions, I have went all the way up to oh shit, I got to sign the contract when I get there at weigh-ins. Because when I say I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. I'm a man of my word.
That's why I love you, bro. And let me tell you, that slip in the bathroom wasn't a slip in the bathroom. I know the situation you're talking about, and let's just say a little Kentucky Fried Chicken, bro. He let his mouth run, and he couldn't face Desmond Green. He was scared shitless of Desmond Green. I know exactly, but there's nothing that goes on in the sport that I don't know about. So when you brought that up, bro, I was like, I know
Ray
exactly.
Ray Charles see that shit coming. You know what I mean? So.
I love that, bro. Jonathan Cole, one of my brothers out of Tennessee, says, glad to be on, Don and Jarome. That's what's great about my show is it's a family show. And I don't know what this was supposed to be, so I'll let you answer this.
Yeah, no, Showdown Fights, man. That was a promotion back here in Utah that was, decade, and rest in peace, the owner, he had passed away. Great promotion here, man, for MMA. Really, really stamped it, as home and big promotions. I mean, they were bringing in people, I mean, we had a lot of UFC fighters come through there, and that was the launching pad to UFC. And when they come out, when they faded out, when Will, rest in peace, had passed away, unfortunately, they'd had another promotion that come in a few years later, which is Fierce Fighting, which is I think it's number one in the West as far as for shows other than UFC, Bellator and those, but as far as that, but it's a big show and they've done it well, and that's who I fight for now. But as far as MMA wise, that's who I typically fight for because they're local here, and even getting back to that, like with. I'm so thankful that the BYB allows me to do that or has allowed me to do that. And people don't realize like bare knuckle pays me substantially more than MMA. So these guys are wanting to have, if I can get in here more with them this year, because now they're having shows every month, then I would love to stick with that. But people don't realize that I do MMA locally because I've had such a huge fan base here. And I go out there so I can still perform in front of them and I can get out in that walk and I can walk with my kids. I make that walk with my kids every time to the cage. And just to see all the people that I built over 18 years of doing this yelling and it just, that's what it's for. It don't pay shit, compared, but I do it because I give these people something to come out and watch. And I love it.
Last night, Renee White Boy Rodriguez said, in my life, I put God, my family, fighting, in that order. Would you say that you categorically put it in the same or define it in the same way?
Oh, God's always number one, man. I mean, I follow Jesus, man. I'm very, God is number one. And then my family, which is me, me and my family, that's what comes. And if we continue to keep our eyes, no matter what, on Jesus, we all grow closer. And the unity, and that's what we're trying to do is bring unity back to community with the business that I'm doing. And so it's just kind of yes, fighting, man, if you got a totem pole, man, fighting is down here. It's not even a priority, man. I like it and I get paid to do it and I've done very well with it. It was always a hobby. And now lately I'm like, okay, well now I got to start doing this to pay the bills and then get my business going and, getting things. So but fighting was, like I said, it was a hobby and now I have to do it. I don't have to do it, but I do it because I love to do it, but it pays the bills now. So, so as far as that, man, I mean, I understand the hierarchy on that, but I mean, to me, it's definitely God, family, friends. You know what I mean? And then, but my career falls into family. So, you know what I mean? That's how I take care of them. I loved what I did, what I used to do. I loved building stuff. I loved putting power in people's, all these lights, with the power plants and things like that. I really enjoyed being able to turn around and walk away and say, did that for America. Building America, that's tattoos. I got American flags all over me. That's my thing. And I love this country. And that's it, God, family, country. God, country, family. If you really want to get technical, you know what I mean? Because if I don't have a good country for my kids to grow up in, then my family's, we're shit.
Yeah. So, this last 4 years has kind of scared me, but I don't talk politics on my show. But I'll be honest with you. I'm 61 and I'm sitting there going, what in the hell has happened in the last 4 years? And I live in the Midwest. I live in the Bible Belt, and it's even freaking weird here, bro. But let me get on a couple more comments. Paul Driscoll, a brother of mine out of Canada, they call him Little Holmes because he's a good friend of Larry Holmes, also one of the biggest fans. He says, hello, Don and Champion Jerome. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you too, brother.
Much respect. Good evening.
And
thanks
Giovanni,
for watching.
And Giovanni says he was not going to take death for an answer. I'm not sure where you're coming there from, homie, but I'm sure you'll explain to me in a second. Amber says BKFC in Utah was awesome this year. Glad I was able to be in the crowds. I'm not going to knock BKFC. I just think they're a promotion. The original owner of the promotion screwed over the fighters. I was glad to see Triller come in. That's pretty as much as I really want to say about them, because I worked for BKFC before BKFC won, and they kind of screwed me over, and they screwed over a lot of fighters, and I protect the fighters. So I took them in front of the commission, and let's just say 4 days later they sold to Triller. So, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Amber, and I'm glad, we're going to be coming there soon. So.
Oh, yeah. So, and I've been talking to him, trying to get him to come to Utah. And I knew when everything had passed to try to get bare knuckle here, and and it was really good. But I was actually in the stands too. We was watching online, and I got some tickets thrown to me, and they said, "Hey, can you get up here?" So me and my kids took off up there and went and watched half the show in the stands, and to watch it sold out was great. But do you know how many times walking in, which I had all my BYB stuff on, nothing about, no disrespect.
Yeah.
But I always wear their stuff. I got the jacket, the one I got when we went to London for Team USA. And that's what I was wearing. It's just, we were out there watching, hanging out. And that's what I always wear, my sponsor stuff. I wear, promotion stuff. But to walk in there and people were like, why are you not on this card? Because I was the first one out of Utah for bare knuckle to come out. I'm the second world champion to ever, come out as a world champion in a combat sport in Utah. And that's all that just got brought to my attention too. So I've been digging around trying to confirm that. And I can't find anything other than Gene Fulmer, was right the road for boxing to ever come out of Utah as a world champion. And then now me with bare knuckle boxing.
Well,
so
you're right. You're right, man. And even like we talked about earlier, even in the Pacific Northwest, if you look, there's not very many fighters that come from certain regions. And you're right. You look at what I think they got Steel Fist in Utah, and
I headlined their very first card when they did it. They wanted me to headline, and I headlined their first card. We sold it out. And to see what they've done, my brother, I have a twin brother. He used to fight. He fought for him. But to see what they've done, it is incredible too for the local MMA scene. I think it's great.
Yeah, I Misty, I can't remember her last name, but she's a BJJ practitioner. She works for Steel Fist. She's been on my show before. I'm gonna throw this comment up here because, bro, you're humble, and I just love sitting here bull crapping with you. And my brother Paul Driscoll says also, congratulations, brother Don. We're all very, very proud of you. I don't want people to look at that comment and think I'm ignoring somebody. What he means by that, and you already know, Jerome. In April, I go into the National Boxing Hall of Fame, and I'm being crapped on by a lot of people, and I get it, because you fighters, you guys go out there and you put your life on the line. You guys give it your all. You get hurt. Your career doesn't last very long. And, here I am, a photographer. So to be inducted into the National Boxing Hall of Fame, it's truly one of the greatest parts of my life. All the other Hall of Fames that I've been put in, they didn't put food on the table, so they really didn't matter. This one put me into the history books to where nobody could ever catch what I've done in 40 years. And, at the end of the day, it's because of people like you and all the other people that step up and fight that gave me this opportunity. So it really isn't an award for me, it's an award for the sport. Because
Absolutely.
without the promotions, the fighters, I wouldn't be anything. I would just be a guy still being the chief executive engineer for the Hilton, and we wouldn't be sitting here. So I want to thank all of you. I know you congratulated me and told me it's you're proud of me, Paul. But this is a win for everybody. This award is for everybody, and it just touches my heart that I can give something back to the sporting community because they've given me 40 years of love.
And absolutely humble too, because you've had to take the dirt road. I mean, the path, and it's tough, what I mean, in life, it'll try to knock you down, right? But we just keep on fucking moving forward, and that's all we can do. And that's the biggest thing, and that's where I enjoy getting to know you, because to see where you've come from and what you're going through, and then where you're cementing your name, and it's like, that is incredible, and I think it's great, and I'm hats off. I can't wait to shake your hand. You know what I mean? It just from respect. One athlete to another. So
Yeah. And Jason Allen says, tell Jarome. Well, brother, he could tell him yourself. He says, tell Jarome Hatch MMA, his friends. Jason Allen says, and new.
yeah,
How does
no,
that make you
Jason
feel,
Allen.
bro?
No, it's and again, and the new again. Like I
Yeah.
love it. That's and Jason, thank you. Good dude, man. I love Jason, man. He's been around a long time, and I mean, he might tell you, what I mean? Like we threw it back, a long time ago. A good dude, man.
Yeah.
Very humble, and just followed each other ever since, man. It's been great.
That's righteous. The reason I put this comment up is, remember we were talking about my buddy that moved to Utah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, he owns a company called Bite Me Mouth Guards. I don't know if you have a mouth guard sponsor or not, but my brother Giovanni from Atlanta says Luke should have had Joe for a mouth guard. But what I'd like to put out there to you is, since you're already in Utah, I'm gonna get in contact with Bite Me Mouth Guards, and I'd love to put a Bite Me mouth guard in your mouth. Maybe not for this fight, but because they're custom mouth guards. Joe's been building them for the UFC, Bellator, and everybody for almost 30 years now. But I'd love to do that for you and your family because you're such a humble man. And I just love what you've created in this sport. So let me work on that. I know I can get it done because he's one of my sponsors, but I'd love for you to do that if you're willing.
No, absolutely. I love it, and I have one guy that did my last one down here a long time ago, and it's. I mean, he did a good job. He does it right there, and so I'm always down to do that. And my kids, I mean, they wrestle. I've told them I need to get them one done as well. So if there's anything that we can put one in my mouth, and there's a discount that I can give my kids one, like, hey, I'm totally cool with that, man. Just because of I mean, I'm all about my family, man. Like that's and if there's any way, like, I'm not saying, hey, I didn't want that shit for free for my kids or whatever. I just okay, well, hey, if you can put me in place, to where, and me and him can work out something with mine, and then I can, there's a
Yeah.
deal I can get my kids done. People don't understand how important that stuff is. I mean, they're in football, they're in wrestling, you know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing to have, mouth guards, and to have one fitted and custom molded to you, 9-day difference, man.
Yeah, well, we family now, bro. So we'll make that
Yeah,
happen. I give my word on that. Jason Allen called you a warrior.
hell yeah.
Um,
So is he, man. Good dude.
I'm trying to get you got a lot of comments on here. That, it's just like Paul Driscoll says, and Stevie Wonder and Ronnie Millsap as well.
Yeah,
We were talking about that blind.
yeah,
Uh, See, I
yeah.
told you,
Helen
bro.
Keller.
Go ahead.
I said, yeah, I'll yell out down to the humps. Helen Keller will see that and tell you about it too. It just it's how it
Yeah,
goes.
Yeah, we're not froze. I could see. I think he's up in Canada, so I think it freezes for him a lot. You know, you got the Justin Trudeau Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
know shit.
Chris Sol Gonzalez says true leaders are being found in bare knuckle boxing. Where would you sit with that statement, brother?
Um, I mean, it just depends on what kind of leader you're looking for. I mean, if you have the heart of a champion, I mean, you don't, as long as you can tame that, and I mean, it doesn't. There's so many people that I can guarantee that are, I mean, I'm sure badder, and but that are better than a lot of people. But I mean, if they're not fighting, they're not putting that out there. There's people that just stay themselves. Very dangerous, dangerous men. I mean, hell, even my coach, man, very, very dangerous. Never fought. And it's just, but he's a leader, and even my kids, I tell them, hey, if you can, like, I'm very yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. My kids the same way. And I tell them, and even the kids that I train now, with the business, and I do these privates, and that was one thing that I try to tell these kids to really do is separate themselves to be that person, and that's what you will lead other people into following you, and you just have to live by hope. And hope is to help one person every day. So if we all take that and just say, hey, hope one person every day, doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you're picking up something, but if you just help someone one time versus get off your high horse and just help, it does you nothing but good. And God's watching. I mean, it puts things in parallel aspect of being a champion, and that you can be a champion in fighting, you can be a champion, and I just want to be a champion in life. If I can build something with my kids, my family, my community, to build something to stand out, that's what I want. And bare knuckle, great, but I
I
think
feel
any
you.
sports, you know what I mean? I'll never discredit that, because a lot of people, can find that, and especially if somebody that is a fan of the sport can find people to do that. But I think as long as your values are right and straight from the heart and good with God, then I think that you could lead anybody if you just take just do you, and make sure that you are a good influence for everybody around you.
Most definitely. Casey Hone
Hone.
says, bring BYB to Utah and let Hatch headline it. Hey, after next month, he becomes a champion. He could pretty much ask for anything he wants. So I think Mike will kind of correlate him on that. I'm good. I didn't realize we've been on here for this long, and there's still a lot of comments, but um,
I
Amber
agree.
says,
I
yes, I'll
agree,
be
Casey.
like,
Yeah, they want to see that triangle. They do. I mean, everybody I've talked to is like, hey, I want to see that triangle. And they even went to the BKFC like, oh, this is. I thought you fight in the triangle. Like, this is the triangle. I said, no. I said, it's a different promotion. I said, but we're working on it. We're working on getting them here. So appreciate you.
Another brother of mine from Canada says, Don, you are proof to never give up. And then the fighting news says, 8-time Hall of Fame GOAT. Man, come on, bro. Why you got to do that to me and embarrass me, man? This is his time to shine, not mine.
No, man, it's great to be able to talk to somebody like you. You know what I mean? It's awesome, and those are great accomplishments.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna do a couple more questions, and then
Okay.
I gotta wrap things up with him because I could sit here and talk to you for 3 hours, bro. Uh, Amber says, I can't wait to get the women's boxing class started.
I'll get a hold of you. Let's get it going. I got a few other ladies that want to do it as well. So yeah, we're gonna get that going for you girls. And again, that's part of the business type, that I'm doing. Mainly tackling kids and self defense and things, but just life skills. And that's my biggest thing is trying to bring back the values. It's been on a steady decline in this country, but do everything through health and fitness. And Miss Amber's reached out, and we're gonna work on getting this ladies night, and for ladies only, a women's only class. So we're gonna get that going
That's,
too.
that's dope. You know, January 18th is just right around the corner, and I already know how you feel. I already know what you want to put on that man. But if you had the opportunity, let's say you guys were sitting right across from each other right now, what words would you express to him from the heart of Jerome Hatch?
As far as like the fight goes, or just like
Yeah, no, as
person
far
to
as the
person?
fight, as far as the fight goes, bro, because you're gonna have to face off against them. And let's face it, I mean, the animosity, the buildup. Take me to that moment. Let's say today, right now, was face-offs, and I'm Martinjak, and I'm sitting right in front of you. What would Jarome Hatch say to me?
Man, I mean, I'll talk shit with the best of them, but I try to be respectful. And a lot of time when they start talking, what I mean, I just laugh and say, "We'll see." But no, on this one, man, I'm coming to get it, and that way I'm going to cement it and take it from him to where he can never say his whole shit was a fluke, and that's what I'm going to tell him. I'll tell him flat out, I'm fixing to isolate this and stand this one down and shut you down forever. So you'll never again have another shot at me. And if so, then you'd already know what's coming, because I'm gonna make a statement. If he ever fights again when I'm done with him, if he ever fights again, I've retired many people, and he's on the list to retire. So I will hurt him. I will break his fucking pride. Like I will fucking hurt him, and I will make a statement. And there's very few fights that I've ever thought of in a personal way, and this one's personal. I'm gonna keep my composure, and I'm gonna fucking take it to
Mm, That's deep, bro. Because it is personal. First of all, you got screwed on the second fight, so you kind of have a chip on your shoulder. You got
Well,
a new
the
baby
biggest
come.
part was when he started, running that cocksucker about, disrespectful Americans and blah blah, and start throwing shit in when we're just there to put on a show for people, and
Yeah.
where he wants to sit there and fucking run his mouth in Croatian because he's too scared to say it in English, and then has to think about it, like whatever. But when you start disrespecting me, like it's a whole different ballgame, man. I don't disrespect anybody. You know what I mean? I'll talk shit, and sell a fight just to a certain extent, but I'll never, unless I don't like you, then I'll never disrespect you.
Yeah,
And for that, I was like, okay, cool, got you.
I love that.
You're
Chris.
you're fucking you're poking a dog, man. Just let the dog sleep, because you just woke him up, and that was a bad fucking deal.
I love that, bro. Chris Gonzalez says, "Love from the people, Hatch." I got a couple more questions if you don't mind. I would like to know what does pride, passion, and perseverance truly mean to the Hatchet Man?
Um, I don't think that unless you persevere, and you're I don't think you can have perseverance. Got to be, if you're not willing to persevere through anything, then you can't have the pride. What would you have pride in if you can't persevere through things? If you can't, and as far as perfection, is that what the other one? Is that what you were saying?
Perseverance, pride, passion, and
Oh yeah.
perseverance.
But perseverance, it all to that's all you as a person. So what those mean to you as a person is what, like, to me, I can't have pride without that. You know, I have to be able to persevere through things. I have to be able to make sure that I'm stamping what I need to, or overcoming what I need to get to, X. And
Yeah,
if you can't put those things and those uh, steps together in order to reach what it is that your goal may be, or reach X, whatever it is, um, then to it's hard to say that you have that, or have the characteristics, that we
yeah,
work on. So, but I think that if you have to do things that are uncomfortable, you have to get into something that way you can persevere through things. You know, um, I think that I mean, yeah, self pride. How can you be prideful? If you're looking in the mirror, you can't lie to that motherfucker in the mirror. Or can you have self pride against the person you're talking to, the one that knows everything that goes on back here? You know,
yeah.
that's self pride, when you can hold your chin up and say, no, I can own my shit, but I'm going to do what I can to be the best that I can be. And I'm going to
That's,
push through it, because that's the only motherfucker that matters. That's where it all comes from, is you.
that's dope, man. You know, I'm gonna jump a comment here because these guys are getting ready. I love it. He says the man in the mirror, but I still got another part I need to add to that question. But they're getting ready to dip out. The Fighting News says I see you in Florida, champ with your see you in Florida, champ with
Fighting News
your
care
the
package.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
You must be special. I've known them forever, and I ain't even got one, bro. No, I'm just giving you crap. Um, but and like Paul Driscoll says, you're driven. But when you look at pride, passion, and perseverance, they correlate, they dictate, but they don't complete a man. There's
Correct.
another word that truly does, and that's patience. You
Yeah.
know, when you add patience to that equation, do you feel that it completes Jerome Hatch?
Yeah. Because with patience comes understanding, and if I mean, like they say, how do you gain patience? People are like, I'm not patient. I'm like, so do shit that takes patience. Go fuck up a fishing reel, and get it untangled. That's going to teach you some patience. But I agree with you. If you don't have patience, man, you can never fully understand things or be able to take a 20,000 foot view and be able to say, okay, what is this situation? And I'm the three A's: assess, adapt, attack. Right. So I assess what it is I'm doing, I adapt to it, and then I attack it. Whether it's life, kids, work, fighting, whatever it may be, you adapt at all times. So for patience, I think it's a great quality to have. And if you don't have it, which a lot of people don't, because there's nothing that you have, there's very few things that you can do nowadays to create patience. And it's not this. Once you're bored, just sitting there on your phone. It's always just feed me, feed me, feed me, to where you're constantly just, and you just need to step away from that and figure out between your ears and just come to it and figure yourself out and develop the patience. Your kids, they freaking out. Oh man, you see this shit all the time, man. Parents freaking out about it. It's like, hey, can you tell your kids not to act like 2-year olds? Like, who gives a shit? Or hey, ma'am, can you not tell your kid to act like a 10-year-old? And every time they start yelling at their kid like that for not doing anything wrong other than being a kid,
Yeah.
like, hey, you should tell your kid to quit acting like a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old. And they're like, you're right. I'm like, who gives a shit what people think? Have the patience with your kids, because they're the ones that are watching you no matter what. They watch everything you do. So just be patient with them. Help them. Understand them. And you do that with yourself. If you have patience with yourself, you fuck up, own it. Have patience to correct it. And start taking them past some steps that you feel that you need to do to correct what it is. And
Yeah.
just be patient with yourself. Be patient with your family. Be patient with your job. Patience is a huge, huge virtue, I think.
And bro, I'm just stymied by the intellect, the knowledge, the love for life and family that you have. I'm just shocked I haven't had you on the show before. I'm gonna kick Steve in the ass for not telling me about you. I guess he's kept a hidden gem in his pocket. But no, in reality, to be honest, because I'm transparent, me and Steve talked today, and I told him, I said, why don't we conjoin? I said, instead of us all trying to be the big dogs, why don't we just sit at the table and all eat together? I said, because we're all doing it for the benefit of the fighters.
I mean, that's how you win. You collaborate. You know what I mean? You want to build your name. I mean, shit, no better way than to get with you guys are friends.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not help each other out? You know what I mean?
I dig it. I think it's a great idea.
I think it's fucking fantastic, man. That's what we should do. And us fighters, we stick together. I mean, hell, even people that I respect, man, hell yeah, dude, go check them out. Go do this. Go watch this guy. Follow this guy. It does nothing but help us out. And as a community, that's it. So we need to bring unity to our community, it's a fight community. It's a business community. It's whatever community you're in. We all just need to, okay, you're too prideful to help a motherfucker out. Okay,
Right.
well, hey, I'll help you. Let me do that. Oh, well, I don't want him to have more followers than me. Why not? That means you're fucking up. So fix your shit to where you can elevate your level and then you guys can both feed off each other and do good competition.
Both grow. Yeah, we talked about that. I'm not going to talk about the show we talked about today, but
yeah, no, yeah.
You know, I'm all organic. You know, I did syndicated radio for almost 20 years. You know, I'm used to the 1.2 to 3.2 million, you know, and then when the pandemic hit, I was forced to do this. I do my best work behind a mic, but I'm not here for a like. I'm not here for a share. As long as I give you the greatest interview that you've ever had or one of the greatest, that's all that matters to me. And Steve's the same way. The Fighting News is the same way. If we can make you shine and do it together, then the world would be a better place. And, you know, Amber says a great idea. And we have a terminology in boxing, you know, everlast, you know. And my brother from Canada, he says it should all be part of the sport, communication. You know, I think that's the problem with a lot of people in this industry is everybody wants to one up somebody. You know, I understand as a fighter, you have to. Yeah. You know, it's life in general, you're correct. But with what I do and what, you know, there's 100,000 shows out there. Why can't we all come together, break bread together, but share the sport together? Like I said earlier, it just creates one great big opportunity, one part of unity in life, especially in these troubled times that we're living in now. We need unity and peace and love more than we ever have. And I think it's a great idea. I hope Steve was supposed to call me tonight. I'm sure he still will, but I threw it out there because I think we could all grow together. And I think it's just the best part, the way to be. You know, my last question for you, because bro, you really touched my heart. You and, you know, even though White Boy said some things on the show that we couldn't share, you know, this card is going to be monumental, bro. This card is going to be history in the making. How does it, I mean, do you sit there at night and think about this card? Because like I said earlier, there's 3 title fights, White Boy's coming back. This is the end of your trilogy. I mean, it's got to sit in a special place in your heart and your mind.
I mean, every fight does, but yeah, this one, it's going to be great. I'm glad to finally, you know, I'm glad to be able to isolate this on American soil too. You know, I'm really excited about it. I think that for this card to be able to headline it again is another huge notch in the belt because it is such a well matched and great card. You know, I've really been digging into it a lot lately. You know, over the last week or so because, dude, I got a baby. It's gonna be, dude. I've been busy, man. So it's just like, oh, I got to fight. Oh, I got to fight. And then now that, you know, I mean, I'm not missing the time. I'm putting it into the gym and I'm making sure. And now I'm watching all the stuff and who's all on the card. And I'm like, actually, a couple days ago, I was like, oh, this is going to be a good card to headline again. It'll be another one to you know, especially to kick off 2024, man. It really, and that's how BYB does it. They start out, you know, I mean, hell, this is the first time I ever fought somebody on the very first fight out was BYB because they started off with fireworks, and that's what we're fixing to do in January. So we're gonna light the year on fire. So
I can't wait, bro. It's like Mel Valenzuela, he's been doing a hell of a job, bro, and he's had almost a month off now to calculate, correlate, and do things, and it's just like I can't even surmise in my head what the hell's going to happen on the 18th of January in Pembroke Pines, Florida. I'm like a giddish schoolgirl, to be honest with you. I like I told you before when we talked on the phone, I was a fan of bare knuckle, but I wasn't a fan of bare knuckle. And then in Colorado, dude.
Most boxers, sorry, but most boxers aren't. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit, you know what I mean? It takes a little bit to grow into. So, sorry, I apologize.
Oh, no, man, you got to apologize. Hey, Denver, bro, I didn't grow into it. I fell into it. It was just like that Tommy Turner and then, you know, Gigliotti and all of them, man, every fight was just banging, you know. And like I told you before, I didn't think we were going to beat, you know, South Carolina, and we tore it up. But my brother Brian Holderson from Canada says, best people in my life never cost me anything. That's a dope statement, bro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, I like that. You know, I mean, just I think it's great. And when you have people that you can, you know, and I have a small group of people, but when I give them my time, that's the most, you know, precious thing we can give somebody is our time, because we can never get that back. So, you know, with that being said, that's a fantastic, fantastic statement, because you live and you learn on the ones that'll fuck you along the way, but the ones that are truly there and remind you all the time, you know, of why they are. And it's not by telling you, it's not by feeding you full, you know, lipstick. It's they're showing you, and they're genuine. Like, I have people that I haven't talked to. I talk to once a month, every couple months, and never skips a beat. And they're brothers to me. So
There you
yep.
have it, Paul Driscoll, trilogy KO in 3 rounds.
He makes
He
it.
says, yeah, right. He says, take your man into deep water and drown him. And
I've
then,
thought about that, but we get paid for the same thing. You know what I mean? I get paid whether I'm in there a minute or I'm in there 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So I ain't getting paid overtime. Might as well get it done early. Yes,
amen.
ma'am.
Amber says, take him out early, and but they came from that historically. I'm not sure what you talked about there, Paul, but gosh, there's a lot of comments, homie. You're a popular dude. I
I love it,
mean,
man.
and then Paul Driscoll said 100%. And this last comment I'm gonna put up because we've already been on for an hour and 6 minutes, and I apologize, brother. But Chris Gonzalez says that Miami crowd is going to be lit. You know, I gotta agree with you. One thing everybody always asks me, what do you think about Miami? What do you think about this? Bro, you're the only one that could help me answer this. People think that we get to see every city that we go to. I see the airport, I see the car, I see the hotel, I see the venue, and then I see the airport. I don't never get to see the city. How's it been for you, bro?
I mean, I've kind of made it a point to make sure I go see the city, but I've been across this country, man. I have I have been all over this country for what I do, or what I was doing before, with the industrial field. So, it's been fantastic. I love this country. So to be able to go any place and fight, dude, I'm looking for something like, hey, what can I bring back my girl? Or what can I bring back my grandma or my aunt? I mean, just something like, what can I bring back my kids? I'm
Yeah.
always out. So I'm like, okay, well, what is the itinerary? When do I got to be back? What do I got to do? And then, that way I can like, okay, cool. I can walk down here. I can check this place out, or, I'll look on what's Miami, what's Pine Brook, what's good here. What is it known for? That way I can go and check that little place out and say, or when I go to a place to eat, it's like, hey, whoever's been here, if I were to say, hey, I've been to, show blows in this town, Pine Brook, what were you known for? Give me your best plate. I want to know. I'm very, very. I mean, I'm big on food, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's I love it, man. I love what this country has to offer. A lot of people don't give it credit, and I think Miami's awesome. When I was out there last time, I think it's a wonderful city. It's definitely higher scale, for an old blue collar guy like myself, but it's cool to check out, So
Yeah, it's cool if you speak Spanish. I'm American
yeah,
Indian, bro. I'm
yeah.
American Indian, and I got out the airport and I was just like, nobody speaks English, bro.
Yeah, it's how it was
Look,
in
look.
Texas, man. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I got one more comment I'm going to read, and then we'll wrap things
Yeah,
up, brother. My brother Paul says he was meaning don't take chances and regret later. Fight the style, not the man. And that's
absolutely.
my homie laughing at me, bro. Go take care of Zerka, brother. Man, if there was one thing you could say to the entire promotion of BYB, from the men that build the Trigon to the people that take care of your hotel room, to the drivers, because that's one thing I want people to realize on the show tonight. With BYB, they fly their drivers all over the world so the fighters don't have to get in a car with a stranger. And I think that is the most unique and dopest aspect of a promotion that I've ever seen. Wouldn't you agree, bro?
It's the details, and when you can capture those details, because you're not trying to cut a dollar to do that. That's why people go to the Chili's and the Outbacks and the steakhouse and the things like that, because they like familiarity and they understand that. And so to be able to do that, and you have that comfort of going to Walmart, and you know you're going to get, which I hate Walmart. That's very stupid, but you know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. It's, you know, you go there, you know what you're going to get. And, but with BYB, in order to be able to pay attention to them details, it means a lot. And for the guys that set up the ring, you know, all the guys that are setting up the lights, you know, the people they fly in, people that drive, you know, hours, all the people that are there, all the people that are in the crowd, behind the scenes, that, you know, everything that has to do with just putting on a promotion, you know, to selling the tickets, to making sure all T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Only thing I can ever tell you guys, man, is I cannot tell you enough how grateful we are. And I thank you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I'm able to broadcast what I like to do and what I have people here in Utah and across this country. I have people all over this country that enjoy watching me do what we do. And so to be able to give them that opportunity is incredible. And they do it for free, you know, I mean, and it's that they give you ways to watch it for free. And that is what it's all about. They care about the fighters, and they care about their people. They're not trying to get a buck off everybody, you know, and I think it's wonderful. So I can't tell you enough. I thank you, and I thank you all that support me and everything, because that's why I do it. I mean, it really is. And I can't tell BYB thank you enough. I'm truly grateful for them.
I feel the same way about them, bro. I mean, the only way people are going to understand is if we share stories about this promotion. And Ashley Hone says Team Hatch. But you really, life should be one love, but you really got to share aspects like this so people understand, because fighters get screwed over all the time. And I mean, I've never went to I'll be honest with you, we probably have things up, but one event I went to, I took like $700 in my pocket. You know, I was only going to be there for 3 days. No big deal. Just take $700. I came home with like $590. And my wife looks at me and goes, "Did you eat? Did you buy anything?" I said, "They fed me. They gave me something to drink. We have drivers." I said, "I didn't have to pay a penny out of my pocket." And that's one thing that I want people to understand about BYB. They feed the fighters. They take care of the fighters. They do everything. I've never seen a promotion like that. And I'm not saying this because me and Mike and Dada and everybody are friends. Because you know what? I'll tell the truth. If they were shit, then I would say it. But they're not. And Giovanni,
I don't think you'd be working for them if they were shit.
No, I wouldn't. And like Giovanni says, BYB shows generosity and compassion. And I think that pretty well sums up the promotion. Brother, go out there and show the world who the true champion is. Go out there and show the world how much time, effort, and energy it takes to become the people's champion, because that's what you really are in my heart and in the sport. Go out there and show BYB, you know, the gratitude for believing in you, because a lot of people don't know you're fighting another fighter from another promotion. You're not fighting another BYB fighter. You're fighting a fighter from BKB, who is, you know, they're from the UK. So this worldwide trilogy, this 3-continent trilogy, all will settle up on January 18th. And I know it's a big load on your shoulder, brother, but go out there and show the people who the true champion is. And
yeah. And also with the Police Gazette, and that's what ties all the bare knuckle together. And that's what I love is the camaraderie that we all have. And even with, you know, BYB, truly, truly grateful. And like you said, man, you can't, I mean, it's unexplainable. They give you per diem, you know, they really take care of you. And like I've said before, man, all I got to do is ask, and yeah, we can help you. Not a problem. Hey, yeah, we can do that. You know, just communication, man. They're fantastic to work with. So,
yeah. And even on this side, even on the side that as a regular employee and person, they've taken care of me. When my son got sick, when they amputated my leg, they've always been there for me for day one. Brother, it was an honor to have you on my show. It was an honor to share your walk. I can't wait until January 18th. If you're in Florida and you want to buy tickets, there's a link on everything that I put out there. You can just hit that link and you can go get your tickets. I'd get them now because the show is going to sell out. This is one hell of a crazy card. brought to you by Mel Valenzuela and the entire BYB team. Brother, I'm
Click
gonna
on
hand the
my
mic.
name.
Yeah, click on his name so he gets somebody. The Fighting News says, let's go, champ Jarome, Hatch MMA. Brian Holderson says, great interview and a new fan. Sabrina Stoneman says, Stoneman's will be cheering you on. Bro, thank you. I'm going to hand the mic to you. If you have any friends, family, social media sites, or just anything else that you'd like to add to the show, brother, the floor is yours.
Hey, I appreciate that. First off, I want to thank you for having me on the show. It really means a lot to be able to, you allow me to use your platform to do this and get people to kind of get to know like really who I am as a person. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you to BYB for allowing me to once again headline another card, a great card, and for the ability to be able to travel and do this and see places I've never seen before. I want to thank my family and my friends. I want to thank like the ones that are closest to me and those abroad, man. I absolutely love you. You know what I mean? At any time, thank you guys so much. I want to thank my sponsors, and that's Water Wellness, Rockwell Watches, Death or Glory Tattoo, and then, I have the sign guys. They do my banners, actually this one here, and all the other ones. The Exalted American. That's my business that I'm doing, to really tackle the values and stuff with the kids, teach these kids life skills, give that a follow on all social medias. And also, man, follow me, and follow me and on all my socials. It's the Hatch MMA across the board. I want to thank my coaches at 4-7 Jiu-Jitsu, and then Combat Striking Center, and just as a family, man, everybody that has gotten me to where I am today and has gotten me that belt and has helped me really keep pushing forward. And I'm extremely grateful and humble, man. I really am. And thank you most of all to God for giving me this opportunity, keeping me and my family and all of those that are watching healthy and humble, man. Healthy, happy, and humble. That's my biggest thing, man. So
that's dope. And, I can't wait for you to have your baby tomorrow. Last but not least, man, this is the most beautiful day that's getting ready to happen for you. So from my family to you and from my listeners to you, congratulations to you and your family on the new member. It's beautiful, man. I love the smell of babies, bro. I remember when my son was just, I'll tell something and and Paul says, and new. This will be embarrassing. This will be embarrassing for me, but bro, I didn't know that jaundice was a normal thing.
my kid had it.
Yeah, I didn't know it was normal. Hell, my mom worked in the OBGYN, but I didn't know it was normal. And I had just started a new job. So my wife calls me and tells me, Anthony's got jaundice. I'm freaking out, bro. I just started this job. I hurry up. I get to the hospital. I would not leave that hospital. I thought my son was gonna die on me. I thought he was sick. And the doctor comes in and goes, bro, it's normal. Almost every baby gets jaundice.
Yeah, just needs a little sunlight, buddy.
Yeah, I felt so stupid, homie. It was probably one of the most embarrassing moments in my life. But kids have a way of doing that. To see the type of father you are is solid, homie. Go out there, like I said, show the world who you are, and let it be known that there's a new champ that's here in town, and he's going to hold that belt for a long time. Thank you from me to you, brother. God bless you. Hey,
God bless you.
I know you're a God-fearing man. You want to take us out in a prayer? You can. It's up to you.
No, that's fine. Absolutely, man. All right. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to unite and to be able to care for one another and to expand the word and help the sport grow. Lord, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for a good, healthy, happy, and humble life. Thank you for continuing to guide us down the path in which you see fit. Lord, thank you for keeping everybody safe that's closest to us throughout this holiday season. Please bless everybody with good hearts and for 2024 and help everybody do the best they can be and strive to accomplish what they need to. Lord, thank you for this life that you've given us all. Please continue to bless us all and come into our lives, come into our hearts, bring us closer to you and closer to one another. Lord, we say this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, brother.
Thank you.
God bless you, bro. Keep being you. We'll holler at you, bro, and I'll see you in Florida.
Yes, sir.
Peace, brother. Good night, and congratulations again.
Thank you, sir.
All right, good night. Man, I tell you what. Thank you, Chris. You know, and you said thanks for the prayer. Yeah, I like to. The fighters always like to say a prayer at the end of my show. That's why I offer the opportunity, and it was just a tremendous ending to a great show. I'm not the greatest journalist in the world because I'm getting old and the old brain doesn't work as good as it used to. But if you have heart, you believe in what you love, you can't go wrong. And Paul Driscoll says, and after the fight, going forward, and Stu. And then Giovanni says, God, amen. You know, like I said earlier, this world is crazy. So I'm going to share people the way I had and continue to share people in a proper way, in a great way, because, we don't have to be like society is. We can continue to be who we are and continue to show love and appreciation for people. A small ripple can create a wave. And on that note, Amber Morgan says, great prayer. Thank you. And then my brother Jonathan from Tennessee says, amen. On that note, God bless you all. May you all have a good night. I hope you appreciated the show. And we'll see you in January 18th in Pembroke Pines, Florida with BYB 23. It's going to be a hell of an event. With that note, good night and God bless.